Bonjour, I'm Sonali Krishna and you're watching the Brand Equity Cannes 2011 special. It's been one hell of a hectic week. The sun, the sand, the bikini and of course the global outburst of creativity at Cannes 2011 just never took a break. But don't take my word for it, take a look for yourself.
Namaste.
History either repeats itself or is created.
It'll get better next year.
And the 58th Cannes Lions Festival definitely created some history this time around with a path-breaking total of 28,828 entries from 90 countries across the world.
You need reality to engage people.
And a great lineup of speakers that made Cannes Lions 2011 almost like a one-stop shop for all.
Now, Cannes has a history of spectacular sessions and speakers, and this year was no different. And Keith Weed, who has at his disposal the second fattest wallet as Chief Marketing Officer of Unilever, is now a regular here. Just over a year into the job, and Weed, who is responsible for all the marketing, communication and sustainable strategies at the multinational conglomerate, feels he is making a difference. He wants Unilever, which is second only to Procter & Gamble in terms of global ad spend, to demonstrate as much skill as scale. I caught up with Keith to have a frank chat on the changing dynamics of the APMA industry. You're one of the first marketers who's made it to Unilever executive. That's really a coup for marketers across the world because, as they fight for more recognition within the organization. How did you manage that?
Well, it's Paul Polman. He's our CEO. He's a great believer in consumer and consumer marketing. And when he set up his organization, one thing he wanted to do actually was to join together various things. So the marketing function, communications and sustainability. In the digital world, things are much more joined up. I think it's in recognition of that, he designed this new role and I was lucky enough to be given it.
You just announced your changes in your category and your go-to-market structure in your fast-developing businesses and emerging markets. Could you throw some light on what these changes are and how is it different from the current model?
Well, it's an evolution from where we are, an important evolution, but an evolution nevertheless. What we have done, though, is we put greater focus on the categories. We now have 4 big categories with leaders of each of them. So it sort of elevates the focus on brands and driving that.
Can you also throw some light on your new go-to-market strategy?
Yeah, so what we have there is we have now one overall leader. So before we had 3 regions. We have one overall leader, Harish Manwani, who's going to be leading all the countries around the world. Interesting, he's going to be headquartered out of Singapore, which I think is very much a sign of Unilever's focus on the fast-growing markets. We have 56% of our business in the developing emerging markets. I think the big difference here is it all being joined up as opposed to having before 3 regions.
Everybody's talking about digital and the social media wave, but in 2010 we saw the television rebound in the West and actually picking up. Why do you think that happened?
Well, I think at the end of the day, people love the video form. People like moving pictures, yeah? And if you think about it, what is television? Television is a square screen with moving pictures. And if you see what people are looking on the internet, they're not sitting there reading pages and pages of text. They're watching video. I think the second thing about television is it's still a very sort of social place where you can sit and chat and engage with people. What we're seeing, though, on television, though, is people are not just solely watching television. Yeah, they're also on social, they might be on mobile as well, so people's attention aren't quite as focused as it used to be.
But I have a very odd question for you. For instance, if Ben & Jerry's is launching a new flavor and you have a variety of promotion to promote that new flavor, let's assume consumers don't like the flavor. They will first, so basically your product will be reviewed first on social media, which will be much stronger than your own internal communication. So in such a situation, do you think that marketers will have to adopt possibly getting a large group of consumers onto their side by possibly giving them a fee to ensure that they're promoted on social media in the right context?
Yeah, I don't see that personally, but it's an interesting idea. Now, I think what it does, and you're quite right, it puts much more emphasis on having great products. Because if you have great products, they get magnified, and indeed, if you have poor products, they don't, and right the opposite. So the way the products are reviewed is part of the dynamic nature of the whole social space. I love it. I don't know about you, when you do shop on social media or on e-commerce, it's fantastic. I mean, you can actually find out, people you've never met before will give you advice. So we've got to expect the same is going to happen to our product. So I think it's great. We use social media to help us innovate a new variant. In fact, during the Obama campaign in the United States, we got consumers to help us what would be a great new variant, and they came up with the idea of Yes Pecan on the Yes We Can thought, obviously, and also a pecan variant for Ben & Jerry's. So there's
and it did very well for you?
It did. I mean, it was of the moment. It was a good idea and executed brilliantly well. Yeah.
You're also looking to set up a venture capital fund in India here. What is the concept of doing such a thing?
Well, Unilever is interested in innovation across the whole breadth of the consumer space. So, but what we also want to be able to do is to sort of get ahead and use more external, sort of open innovation to bring ideas. There's lots of people out there who are interested in our brands and products, who have some great ideas and innovation possibilities. So what the venture capital funds have been doing is finding ways of seeding new companies, seeding new ideas. We've had some good success in the ones we've done already. We want to make sure that we have a greater presence in the fast-growing markets, and India is a perfect example of that.
The other big trend that's emerged from Cannes is something called SoloMo, which is social, local, mobile. And interestingly, all these three elements don't really need that much money. So do you actually envisage marketing budgets actually shrinking in the future?
No. I don't think it will. The great thing about competition is it keeps you on your toes. In the last 2 years, we've increased our advertising and promotion budget, our marketing budget, by 700 million euros. So a big investment. In fact, at a time when a lot of people have been pulling back. I do see, though, ways of getting better return on investment, what we call ROMI, return on marketing investment.
Sure.
And digital enables you to do that, to have a much clearer accountability of where the investment money is going.
You also recently talked about trying to consolidate all your digital agencies, because you just have so many across the world, and you wanted to work with 3 or 4 key shops for your digital plans across markets. How has that worked for you? Have you managed to consolidate your position?
We were working with hundreds, you're completely right. And what we've done is now have a global roster, and we now are forming regional rosters as well. So it'll be in the tens rather than the hundreds. But we're making good progress, and what's quite good about it means we can qualify the agencies to make sure we work with the best. The difficulty about having a very fragmented presence, you never know whether you're working with the best, mediocre or poor. And so we've done a sort of internal accreditation approach.
How many times in a week do you check your Facebook account, your Twitter account, Foursquare? I don't know.
Well, on Twitter I don't tweet, but I am what's officially called a lurker. So I follow others, etc., but I don't actually tweet myself. Yes, I have a Facebook profile. Yes, I am LinkedIn, and yes, I do have the smartphone and the BlackBerry and the iPad. I'd be hypocritical if I didn't. But I think what's interesting is there is a lost generation. You were referring to people who aren't acting in this area. The young marketeers have grown up with it, and they don't know anything different. If you talk to them about being online, they don't even know what being offline is.
Exactly.
It's life. And then there's people like myself. I have a 20-year-old son, an 18-year-old son, and a 16-year-old daughter. And if I wasn't, sort of eye-chatting with my son, he wouldn't at university. He wouldn't be talking to me. So I think people of my age have been pulled into it through teenage children, and it's really the people in the middle have to work that extra hard to engage in it. Give
me 2 key predictions that we will see in the foreseeable future.
Well, one you've already mentioned, and that is the power of mobile. We're at the start of this journey, absolute start of the journey. Mobile is going to be absolutely massive. It's going to bring the next billion people onto the net. It's a way of people engaging with brands, with the media, in a way never happened before. So I think mobile is going to be more positive than even the most positive predictions. The other one is brands really getting their mind around content. Content is a big challenge. For people like yourselves, it's what you do, it's your day job. It's not our day job. And if we're going to make our brands interesting and make our brands engaging in the social space and beyond, we're going to have to become much better at developing content. But the big challenge about content, as I always say, I want to have always on, quality, cost-effective content. The challenge is right now I can usually only get 2 of the 3. Getting 3 of the 3 is really hard, and that's what I'm working on right now.
Thank you so much, Keith. Truly a pleasure speaking with you.
It's been a great pleasure speaking to you too.
Go grab a snack, but make it snappy. Is coming up is an exclusive conversation with a new Hollywood sensation, Jesse Eisenberg.
I don't use Facebook.